Hello and welcome to the Bookings Africa podcast, an interactive show where we introduce you to our team, our products, services, milestones, and share the value proposition for all users. We are pioneering digital work across the continent, and we are on a mission to enable Africans monetize their skills and earn a living online. Join Africa's preferred gig marketplace and find great talent on demand for physical and virtual services.
Hello everyone, welcome to the maiden edition of the Bookings Africa podcast. I am Rachel Wanogo, and on today's episode, I am going to be speaking with the CEO of Bookings Africa, Fade Ogunro. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about the Bookings Africa business, the industry, and her plans for the future. So give it up for Fade Ogunro. Hello, Fade.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Well, it's such a pleasure to have you on today's episode, to have you speak to us about Bookings Africa. I'm sure our listeners are very, very, very excited to hear what you have in store for us today and how you went about, setting up the business and what Bookings Africa is all about. So firstly, I'd just like to ask you, how did you come about Bookings Africa? What inspired you to start the business?
There were numerous factors, to be honest. The one straight answer that I usually give is it came about as a result of the frustrations that I faced as an executive producer. I still co-own a production company, and we used to film a lot of content all across sub-Saharan Africa. And whether it's a documentary, whether it's a movie, TV commercials, music videos. I'm notoriously known for music videos and TV commercials. And I just found that just sourcing talent, sourcing professionals for gig work was just very inefficient. And as a continent, we're very fragmented. So if you haven't visited Kenya or you haven't visited Zanzibar, Zimbabwe, you would have no contacts there. And then people try to then go on social media, slide in people's DMs. They speak in a different language. There's a language barrier. You spend so long negotiating. It was just completely inefficient. And at first, when I was producing mainly music videos, we could manage it better. But then the moment we started shooting a lot of corporate content, it was just incredibly inefficient because the turnaround time was very low. And clients wanted to, of course, save money by hiring locals and then hiring them for that gig work. For it's a 1 day or 2 day commercial. It's a lot cheaper to do that than fly your entire crew or even cast members from another country. And I just thought, if I've never been to Ouagadougou, but I can go online right now and book a hotel and make an informed decision on the type of hotel. How much do I want to pay? What's my budget? What's the ratings and reviews? What are people saying about this hotel? What amenities? What's the services that they offer? If I can make an informed decision and book and pay securely online for something as simple as a hotel, why can't I translate that? And, well, to be honest, I didn't think I would do it. I just thought, why don't we have a marketplace where we can book service providers, where we can book for professionals or creative talent? And that was the genesis of Bookings Africa. But I actually thought that somebody else would do it. I was actively telling anybody that I knew who would care to listen about this need that I had as a producer, because I love production. So I didn't even think that I was going to get into the tech space. But the more production I did, the more issues we were facing, and the only solution that I had was Bookings Africa. So that's kind of like the generic answer that I give everyone. But because this is the Bookings Africa podcast,
we can go
a little bit deeper, right?
Into it.
So I had that idea just always at the back of my mind, telling somebody. I didn't know the name Bookings Africa. I just thought we need a marketplace where clients can search for professionals and make an informed decision, book and pay. Somebody needs to create that. And nobody did. And one day I had a client actually who was looking for a location. And the location that he wanted, he had in mind, literally did not exist. He wanted a bungalow that had a garden, a front garden and a back garden. It shouldn't have any burglary bars. It should have French windows that open up to like a tennis court and a swimming pool. And I was like, in the middle of Lagos, and you don't want to travel out to another state or something. You want this in the heart of Lagos. It's not going to work. And I just thought, and he came from India and we were meant to shoot the commercial, let's say a week after his arrival. And 3 weeks after his arrival, we were still looking for the perfect location. We'd sourced every other thing other than this location. And I thought, I need to find, if I had this Bookings Africa idea, if I had that already built, then I would probably have a solution for him. So I remember I went home, fell asleep on my sofa, and I heard a TV commercial. And the TV commercial was literally just saying, join bookingsafrica.com, Africa's largest gig marketplace for service providers and talent and professionals, whether you're an actor, a dancer, a DJ, an accountant, a therapist, whether you need locations, filming equipment, whatever you need, we are that marketplace. Come to Bookings Africa. And I jumped up out of my sleep and I thought, fantastic, somebody's finally built this amazing product that I've needed. When I woke up, my TV was off. I thought, that's really strange, but we're in Nigeria, right? So maybe NEPA took light or something.
I know.
And I then decided to open up my laptop, because I remember the name of the website, bookingsafrica.com, and lo and behold, it literally just said this domain is available to purchase. And I thought, that's weird. Well, I like the name Bookings Africa, because you can book anything across Africa, so why not? So I purchased the domain. Literally like $10, $12. I tend to do that. If I find any name of something that I like, I just buy the website. And I just kept it. I didn't think anything of it until literally after that day, every problem that I faced as a producer, I'd literally hear that jingle just replaying in my head. And I thought, okay, I think if anything, this was a vision. It wasn't even a dream. Like I saw it clear as day and I was like, okay, I think this is a sign that I'm meant to try and go in a different direction from media and start something in the tech space, because it's definitely a solution provider as well as fill in a gap. And the business side of me and the spiritual side of me just kind of had a marriage, and I was just like, right, I'm going to go for it. And that is really the two-sided story of how I came up with Bookings Africa.
You mentioned something about, booking or buying up the website, and which takes me to my next question, because I think our listeners want to know the necessary steps that you took to get to where you are as a CEO of a tech company. So apart from just buying up the website, what were the necessary things that you were looking for? You talked about a hub where, creatives are literally going to be able to get booked for gigs. So are you trying to say that Bookings Africa is sort of like an agency? Would you say that? No,
we actually don't want to be perceived as an agency. We simply are a marketplace. We're actually I wouldn't say we're taking the job of an agent away. Okay. I don't want people to come after me. But we're literally giving you the opportunity to be very transparent. So it's like you go to a website where you want to compare prices for a flight, or you want to compare prices for a hotel, and then you want to book and pay for the hotel. That website isn't an agent. It's just a booking platform. So it's a marketplace. And when you go to a market, you want to be able to see a variety of people. You want to be able to compare the prices, and you want to be able to book and pay without having a middleman involved. So we only get paid when the talent also gets paid. We just take a commission ranging from 10 to 20%, depending on what the ticket size of the service delivered. And that's it. So definitely we're not an agent. But the question that you allude to was also referring to the steps that I took as a CEO. I like to learn. So I'm a bit of a geek. I read a lot. I've always been a straight A student. I speak a few languages, and I like to never be a person that's having a conversation in a room and know the least. At least I want to be able to have a conversation, an intelligent conversation, no matter what space I'm taking it up. And I knew that if I was going to move into the tech industry, I could not be that woman or that girl just who had no clue what she was talking about. And I actually had to learn a lot. Once I stepped away from my production company, from the operations in my production company, I literally took a year off, and all I did was study, and I just literally have a PhD from YouTube. That's what I say. I just took a whole year off, and I was reading lots of books, taking as many online classes as I could, religiously watching YouTube. I would wake up every day, 9 a.m., I'm watching YouTube till 6. And no, I wasn't watching, music videos. I was watching Harvard iLab, which is one of my favorite channels. It's got a class called Startup Secrets, and it literally tells you everything about what you need to do to run a successful tech company, from how to test your MVP, how to define your MVS, your minimum viable segment. It tells you about routes to market strategies. It just really breaks down every single thing. So I literally went back to school. even though it was online. So I did that for an entire year. And then I decided to create my MVP, the minimum viable product, which is a very, very basic version of the website, just so that I could test that this is not just an idea. There's actually a business here and people would pay for it, that there's a need for it and people would pay for it. So in order to test that, I had to first of all get the database of service providers that I'd booked over the last decade as a producer. Luckily, I already had. That was one of the unique selling points that I had with me. The advantages that I had was that I had that database already. So I was able to quickly onboard them onto the platform, onto the very basic, the MVP version of the website. Onboard them. So we had about 2,000 people. Then, of course, I already had my clients who I shoot a lot of productions for. And I went to them, why don't we make your life easier? We've got all these voiceover artists, photographers, makeup artists, hairstylists. We had about 5 different professions, and that was it. And in my mind at the time, I only envisioned it being a B2B platform, specifically for the production, marketing, PR, those advertising agencies. And I went to them, my clients, and I said, hey, I've got this going on. I've got this database. If you ever need any of these services, let me know. And a couple of them did reach out. And before you knew it, the platform was generating funds. And I thought, okay, well, there's clearly something here then. And then I decided to take it a step further and start raising funds. And then I started pitching. I mean, honestly, I did start. This is a rookie mistake 101. I started pitching before I even had an MVP. And a lot of people would always say, great idea, but we need to actually see a product that's been built. And I was like, well, I kind of need your money to build the product. So how can I build? It was like the chicken and the egg. How can I build something if I don't have the money? And how can you see it if you don't? Yeah, so it was a back and forth. But eventually I got the MVP built. And as soon as that happened, I noticed there's a bit of an inflection point with fundraising where I was getting a lot of yeses. So that was that transition until, I never really see myself as in, you are the CEO. I just need a great team and I just need this to work. And I want people in my team that have the same vision, that understand the vision, that are very hardworking, go above and beyond and come up with solutions. That's the one thing I always say to the team is, we are solution providers. We're a tech company. And the reason that we're here is to provide solutions for the users. So just their personality has to be solution driven. And I think that's something that I'm very aligned with. I just love solving problems naturally. So for me, that's more important than the title being a CEO. It's like, how is whatever product or service I'm offering, how is it benefiting the users? How is it benefiting community? And that's how I went about it. I actually had to study and raise money.
And that's very, very interesting. And you mentioned something about the MVP and how that you pitch yourself to potential investors and they ask you, where's your product? And I think I can liken it to the platform itself, because I've literally, gone through the Bookings Africa platform and I see that the service providers have a part of their profile where they can literally, showcase their work. And what do you say to, already registered service providers who already, have like a portfolio or do not have a portfolio? Because it's quite essential. You're trying to market yourself to be booked for a service. However, your portfolio segment is just blank.
You will not actually be approved. We have about 4 or 5 different mandatory fields that you need to fill in as a service provider. It's free to register on the website, but in order for your profile to be visible so that clients can book you, you have to be able to put in your availability, because there's no point in being on the platform and you're always closed. You also have to put in, like you mentioned, your profile, because how can a client make an informed decision? It's like going on a website to book a hotel and there's no pictures of the hotel. It just says 3-star hotel. It's like a mystery. You never know what you're going to get. That's not really a great selling point. So in order to actually be able to make an informed decision as a client, I'd like to be able to see the work that the talent has done. So it's essential to have your availability, your portfolio, your work history, your services and prices, because it's a no haggle platform. The price you see is the price that you get, and that's the price that clients pay. So we're proud of those elements, and in order for you to be able to get booked, for service providers to be able to get booked, that feature is essential.
Okay, thank you, Fadi, for that answer. Looking towards the line of the clients themselves. Okay, so we've got service providers on the Bookings Africa platform. What about clients? Why should clients, come register on the Bookings Africa platform?
Clients should register on Bookings Africa platform because one, there isn't a marketplace like ours. We are providing a one-stop shop for services that you use on a regular basis. So whether you want to cut your hair, you need a photographer, you need a makeup artist, you want to, you want to get a job as an actor, or you want to hire a model. If you need an accountant, you need a therapist. What normally happens is you normally do word of mouth. So if you, for example, might suggest a makeup artist, but their style of makeup might not be what I like. So if I don't know, if I can't see their work, if I can't see their prices, or you've suggested somebody to me, I like them, but they're fully booked for the next 2 weeks, but I need them for this weekend, then what? I go back to square one. So you want a marketplace where you have choices. You want a marketplace where you have transparency. You want a marketplace where you can make an informed decision, and also with payment. A lot of the times people sometimes pay in advance and you don't get the service that you booked for. With our platform, your payment's actually secure. Once you pay as a client, it goes into your e-wallet and it's penned in there. Once the service has been booked and rendered and delivered to a satisfactory level, then you press end job, just like an Uber, for example. You can end the job, and then the money moves from your client e-wallet to the service provider's e-wallet. If there's a dispute anywhere in between that process, then the service provider doesn't get paid until that dispute has been resolved. So that way you're also assured that you say you want to look like Beyonce, they don't paint you to look like Bobo the Clown. And also there's ratings and reviews. There's not a lot of platforms for African service providers where you can see honest ratings and reviews from your other peers as well. So that mode of transparency is what I think would fast track, basically allow people to use or encourage people to use Bookings Africa a lot more, because now you can literally make decisions on hundreds, thousands within seconds. And even beyond that is the fact that we've also got virtual services. So now that we are in a COVID conscious era, we're in a low touch economy. Digital solutions are preferred. So I have a few friends, for example, who used to go to the gym all the time. Now they're still quite skeptical about visiting the gym, and they hire their gym instructors online. Because we're in Nigeria, South Africa, and Kenya, you've now got a wider marketplace. You've got a wider database and a wider range of talent to choose from. You can be in Nigeria and book a fitness instructor based in South Africa. You can be in South Africa and book a therapist based in Kenya. You can be in Kenya and book a tutor based in Nigeria. You can be anywhere in the world. Even my older sister, she's got 4 kids, and over the summer, she likes to book tutors on our platform because she still wants even though they're British kids, she still wants them to have that Nigerian lesson teacher, experience. So they still have that. So now it enables people to have dignified work that's self-sustainable just because they're connected online. The vision of us to be the preferred digital work platform. And we want to enable service providers, we want to enable clients, but African service providers, we want them to be able to monetize whatever their skills, their talent, their passion, their content. That's eventually where we're going to get to. But we are the home of digital work, and we've got about 15,000 service providers on our platform and growing, and we're less than 2 years old. So we're getting there.
That's particularly amazing. I'm just going to move on to a concluding question.
Sure.
So where do you foresee the business and the industry at large? Where do you see Bookings Africa in the next 2 years, in the next 5 years? And how do you see Bookings Africa's impact within the tech space?
Well, I have audacious dreams and goals, and I've done quite a few things that people probably said I would never have done. So it's going to sound cliche, but I want to take over Africa. Yeah, that for me is just the start. Within 3 years, I'd like to be in minimum. I would be disappointed if I'm not in at least 10 African countries within 3 years. Those are measurable goals. But other than that, the impact, I want to be able to sit here in 3 years and say that I've been able to create self-sustainable jobs. I've been able to create employment. Then people don't have to go and look for work. They are their own bosses because they've been able to get so many bookings. They can have self-sustainable careers. And I've been able to impact lives, especially women. If I can impact maybe, I would say 1 million people in about 3 years. And also, apart from that, right now, Bookings Africa is playing in the digital space. However, we've noticed a trend that, and data clearly states, that the majority of the workforce across Africa are informal workers. So there's a lot of hurdles that we have to overcome and mitigate in order to move the general informal workers to allow them to participate in the African digital economy where we want them to participate. So the market that we have is still quite small, but the potential is still quite large. We've got to look at some of the hurdles that the informal workers face, such as access to smartphones, access to data, access to finance, and even digital literacy. Just because they have a smartphone doesn't mean that they're making the most out of it. So until we can mitigate or reduce these hurdles, these barriers, then we can really say we're going to have a massive impact in the digital economy. And I can't give everything away right now, but that's something that I'm very keen on. I do want people to, of course, ultimately become users and adopt Bookings Africa as a way of life. But just as anybody who earns a living should be able to make use of our platform eventually to also earn a living as well, whether it's physically or virtually. That's the end goal, but I know that to really make an impact at large, we've also got to look at the problems that the informal workers are facing and how we can move them along this conveyor belt to really participate in the digital space.
I think Bookings Africa, in a nutshell, is all about solving problems and providing digital solutions to the world. And I think that's such an amazing job. We'd just like to say that to our listeners. If you aren't yet signed up on the bookingsafrica.com platform, you need to get signed up today.
That's right.
Yes. So thank you very much, Fade, for sharing with us your insights into Bookings Africa. We're looking forward to hearing more and more information about the brand, and we're also looking forward to sharing more insights into what we do as a company. If you'd like to connect with us online, we are on all social media platforms. We're on Instagram @BookingsAfrica, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook. We are everywhere.
TikTok,
and even on YouTube. So do connect with us, bookingsafrica.com. And it's a pleasure having you listen to our podcast today, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Join Africa's preferred gig marketplace and find great talent on demand for physical and virtual services. Download the app on the iOS and Google Play stores. bookingsafrica.com.